Roblox voice chat is supposed to be background noise. Laughter, raging, keyboard clacks, parents yelling somewhere in another room. But what if, one night, in the middle of a normal game, you heard your friend's life fall apart on the other end of the call, and there was nothing you could do? This is the story of a boy named David, a boy named Ryan, and a Roblox call that one of them never made it out of. David and Ryan met the way most Roblox friends do, by accident. They kept running into each other in the same games, noticing each other on leaderboards, and eventually started sending friend requests back and forth. Before long, they were playing together almost every evening. Obbies, horror maps, Brookhaven, whatever was popular that week. In real life, they lived in different cities, different states, different lives. But online, they were always in the same place. Same lobby, same squad. David was the loud one. Jokes, trash talk, energy. Ryan was quieter. He didn't talk much about his home, but when he did, his voice always got just a little tighter. They finally moved from typing in chat to voice calls. Suddenly, the friendship felt real. They started talking about more than just games. School, teachers, stuff that scared them at night. And slowly, David started to notice something about Ryan's house. There was always shouting in the background. Not normal take out the trash shouting, real ugly screaming. Plates hitting counters, doors slamming, a woman's voice, furious and exhausted at the same time. "Is that your mom?" David asked once. Ryan laughed it off. "Yeah, she's just stressed." He never said more than that. So David didn't push. One evening, they were playing like usual. Call on, headsets on, same game they'd played 100 times before. On David's side, everything was normal. Computer humming, soda can on the desk, muffled TV from the living room. On Ryan's side, it wasn't. At first, it was just noise in the background. A raised voice. A cupboard slamming. Nothing David hadn't heard before. "Dude, you okay?" David asked. "Yeah," Ryan muttered. "She's just in a mood." "Ready? 3, 2, 1, go." They dropped into a fast-paced game. For a few minutes, it was just chaos. Footsteps, gunfire, shouted callouts. Then David realized Ryan had stopped talking. "Hey, where you at?" David asked, laughing. "You AFK or what?" No answer. He heard something in the background. A voice. Sharper now. Words he couldn't make out, but he knew the tone. Full-on rage. Then Ryan's voice, smaller than David had ever heard it. "Mom, please, I'm in a game, I'll—" A harsh impact. Something crashing. The headset microphone picked up everything. "Bro?" David sat up straighter. "Ryan, you good?" Another crash. The woman's voice snapped through the mic. Closer now, right next to it, like she was towering over him. "How many times have I told you to turn that thing off?" Her words were slurred around the edges. Tired. Or something else. David's heart started pounding. He heard Ryan again, but the joke was gone from his voice. I'll stop, please, just don't." The sound that came next wasn't like the usual background noise. It was a heavy, sickening thud. Not furniture, not a dropped controller. Something solid meeting something fragile. The call didn't cut out. David heard the headset skid across the floor, the mic scraping for a second. Then just sounds. A choked breath. A half-cut-off cry. Then nothing from Ryan. Only his mother's breathing. Jagged, furious, too close to the mic. David felt cold all over. "Ryan?" He could hear his own voice shaking. "Ryan, answer me if you can hear this. Say something. Knock. Anything." Nothing. The woman's voice came again, low and shaking. "Look what you made me do." Something heavy was dragged across the floor. For a second, David thought he heard Ryan try to inhale, like his lungs were refusing to work right. Then the headset hit something, and the call filled with static for a moment. "Ryan!" David almost yelled, but his room was powerless to do anything. He did the only thing he could think of. He yanked off his headset and grabbed his phone. The Discord call was still active. He couldn't hang up. Couldn't just pretend he hadn't heard what he'd heard. He slammed the dial pad open. hands shaking so badly he kept hitting the wrong numbers, and called emergency services. The dispatcher picked up. 911, what's your emergency? My, my friend, something's happening at his house. I heard. He tripped over his words, talking too fast, trying to explain how they'd met in Roblox, how he only knew a first name, a voice, a rough idea of city from some random conversation months ago. He wasn't there. He didn't have an address. All he had was a gamer tag, a voice, and the sound of something terrible still echoing in his ears. The dispatcher tried to calm him down, asked for anything concrete, school mascot, state, even a last name. David managed to give them the little fragments he remembered. A logo on a hoodie Ryan had once bragged about, a vague mention of our town being boring, the way he pronounced certain words. It wasn't much, it was all he had. On his monitor, the game had long since ended. Ryan's character stood motionless in the lobby. The call finally disconnected on its own. The next day, David noticed something. Ryan's account was offline. Not just away or last seen 3 hours ago, completely gone from his friend list. When he tried to search the username, nothing came up. He checked the messaging app. Their chat history was still there. Memes, late-night venting, links to games. But Ryan's profile picture was replaced with a blank silhouette. No status, no last seen. Days passed, then weeks. David kept checking the game, the app, anything. Nothing. One evening, there was a knock at David's door. His parents opened it. Two people introduced themselves. Serious faces, badges, careful voices. They didn't give many details. They asked some questions about how David met Ryan, what Ryan had told him about his home, whether David had ever seen anything on video, any clues that might help. David finally asked the only question that mattered. Is he okay? The adults exchanged a quick look. The kind of look people share when they're choosing their words very carefully. Your friend went through something very serious, one of them said slowly. What you did, calling when you heard what you heard, was important. It helped. But he's not going to be joining your games again. That was the softest way they could put it. Ryan never came back to Roblox. And from what they told David, he never really came back at all. After that, Roblox didn't sound the same to David. Every shout in the background of someone's mic, every parent's voice from another room, every slammed door, it all made his chest tighten. People online loved to say, if something was wrong, I'd notice. I'd say something. I'd save my friend. But what if something wrong is just a broken sentence in voice chat? A hit you can't see? A breath that suddenly cuts out? What if the only witness to what happens in that room is you, miles away, staring at a screen? David did everything he could from where he sat. He called, he spoke up, he remembered details. And still, it wasn't enough to pull Ryan back into their next game. So next time you're in a Roblox call and you hear something in the background that doesn't sound like normal yelling, don't just mute and move on. Ask, check in, tell someone. Because for David, it was just another night of gaming, until the moment his friend's life turned into a sound he'll never be able to forget.